Welcome to Gambler 007. Today, I'm going to present Oauth2 with the JWT token plus OpenID Connect. So as this particular implementation demands REST client, it may be, of course, in this particular video, I will be covering the web client, how I will be using to connect. And along with the web client, I will also show you a snippet of SAML. Okay, before giving explanation about the topic, let me brief myself Pratap Reddy Chintam, and I'm having around 13 years of IT industry experience, especially Java, JWT, and relevant technologies. Okay, and what I will do, I'm having some content to share with you. Let me share my screen. Yes, this is the PPT, what I will be having to share with you. Yes, as I told you, Oauth2 with the JWT plus OpenID Connect. And if you are interested with this video, and of course, if you are liking this video, you can subscribe to my channel. Okay, this is the simplified architecture of authentication and authorization. You see here in this diagram, there are three main parts. This is the client, and this is authentication and authorization server, and this is resource server. So here the agenda is this client wants to access this particular resources from the resource server, but a resource server won't provide you access right away. For that, you have to come through authorization server. So what this particular authorization server does, so whenever it's like, there is an agreement between client and the server. So the client, you should send the authentication details to the authentication and authorization server. So then authorization server, first it will authenticate, then authentication is successful, then it will send the ID token to the client. Then client will send ID token and also some additional parameters to get the access token. Of course, as I told you, this is simplified diagram. And actually here there are two steps. First, client will send the client details, and second, but authentication and authorization server, whenever it sends the response with ID token, then second time the client will send a few more additional details along with ID token. So that is for additional check. Once it is authorized, then it will generate the access token and it will give it to you. And once you are having the access token, and that access token you will be using to access the resource, to utilize the resources in the resource server. This is the basic flow of Oauth2 with JWT and OpenID Connect. You see here, this is a little technical. So here, what the client will be sending, client ID plus client secret. It could be user ID, password, and all. Of course, I will explain in next slides. Of course, with the code snippet, everything I will be explaining over there. But here, just as a technical diagram, just I'm presenting. So here you will be sending the details. Then authorization server finally send the access token. This access token you will be sending to the API service with the prefix of bearer. And you see here, this is moreover, you are dealing with JSON. And you see here, what is the OpenID Connect and what is SAML? See, security assertion markup language, SAML is, and it works on XML. And you see OpenID Connect, it is authentication protocol and it works on the JSON. But this is the main difference. OIDC works by using RESTful API communication, that utilizes HTTP communication channel to send lightweight JSON security tokens for the authentication process, whereas SAML uses also HTTP, but it uses heavy XML messages. So we are using OpenID Connect. The reason behind OpenID Connect, it is a lightweight. It uses lightweight messages, JSON messages. So in case if your service is going to deploy in cloud environment, of course, if that should serve for even mobile clients, then OpenID is the suitable one. If you use SAML, it depends on the heavy XML messages. This will be a difficult if you are having any mobile users or any other lightweight components. If you are working on, you try to use JSON security tokens. Okay, and here you see this is the in detail how this authorization server works, and especially when I talk about authentication and authorization server, because of authentication and authorization server, every time developer no need to develop his own security mechanism. That's why you see here OIDC and Oauth2 also enables user's identity by sending an access token to user information endpoint. The path for this endpoint can be determined by using OIDC discovery. It is the process of how it is happening in the authentication and authorization server. As a result, it reduces the burden on developers as no need to build own authentication mechanism into each microservice. Okay, and these are the steps how it will do the check inside. Whenever it's going to discover OpenID provider metadata, performs auth flows to obtain ID token. So here what it does, whenever client sends the ID token headers, it will verify first the headers are perfect, then it will just give the token, ID token. Then second time, it will expect JSON web key set, that is signature keys. And whenever authentication and authorization server receives the signature keys, it will validate the token and it will send the access token to the user. And you see here the snippet of code which I built. If you are working for repeated organization, and you see here how it's supposed to be, for example, if you are working for Capgemini or TCS or any other top organization, it's like, when you are working with the top MNC organization or client, so they will be in the restricted network. It will not allow you to access outside network. So for that reason, you have to bypass. You have to use proxy to bypass the network firewalls, and that's why you have to implement this proxy stuff. This proxy stuff you can just pass it to reactor client HTTP connector, and once you are having this particular snippet of code, wherever you are invoking the external services, wherever you are accessing the external services, you have to just pass this one. And before that, you see there is a one line of code, get auth and token headers. See, this is headers, the request params. How you will be passing your request params? It's like, it is in the body, not in the header. Authentication token information you will be passing part of body params, what I could call. And you see here web client, and it is just building the basic web client, and you see the blue highlighted line, that is the auth and token response. Whenever you are passing auth and token body params to the authentication and authorization server, it, as I told you, as I explained in previous slide, it validates, then it will send back auth and token, that is ID token. So here you will be receiving the ID token response. Then in next step, what it is happening here, with we will be passing this ID token and also additional params to get the Oauth2 token, that is access token. So we will be receiving here access token. So here I given the different naming convention. Oauth2 is nothing but ID token. Oauth2 is nothing but access token. And once you get the access token, and of course the params you will be passing in the multi-valued map. What is multi-valued map? It is a map. It will have key value pair. You will be passing username, value, password, value, scope, value, like that. Whatever params there, all you will be passing part of multi-value map. That's why you could see here the multi-value map everywhere when you are passing the request params to the server. And once you are receiving the access token, and you could see in green highlighted line, before that you see here I am building the client, and by passing the authorization token, and this is here bearer is the prefix, and this authorization token is JWT, that is JSON Web Token. And once we are passing this access token and with the prefix bearer, and this is the service URL here, risk entities. This is the my external service URL, and if I am passing some dynamic param, this is the param, and this is the final response I will be getting part of that, and that's how it's like, you know. So here I will be getting the final response. So let me summarize how the authentication, authorization, code flow works, and how you are finally getting the JSON response from the external service. For instance, in your organization, if you are building capital market application, and part of that, if you want, if you need to receive some live feeds from NSE stock exchange, and you see here, this is the code. You will take the, it's like the metonyming convention, maintain like that, and after that just you have to use the proxy. This is the, you have to provide proxy to bypass the network, and the next you will be passing the get Oauth2 token. So here you will be getting the ID token. So to get this ID token, you will be passing the multi-valued map, which is having the user authentication details along with client ID and a few more additional details. So it depends on the agreement between you and your authorization server. And the next step here, it is in the yellow highlighted line. So here you will be getting the access token, that is by providing access token header body params, that is along with ID token, which is you received part of blue highlighted line, and you will be also providing additional details. So then you will be receiving the access token, which is in the yellow highlighted line. And once you are having the access token, and you can actually consume the external service without any failure, authentication and authorization failure. And whereas this is again internally it happens so many things, but finally you will get the JSON response. And you see how this here you could see get Oauth2 token header, get Oauth2 token response, get Oauth2 token response. So I will be showing get Oauth2 token response, get Oauth2 token response. There are two private methods here. So here how you will be passing those get Auth. You refer this second one first, which is in the green highlighted box. Get Oauth2 token response. What you will be passing? Oauth2 token params you are passing, and how you will be passing? Through web client body. So why I am using the web client? Web client is released in Spring 5.x, and this is the latest. And earlier we were having REST template, Fin client to act to make a REST call. So REST template is deprecated now. Don't use REST template. In case if you are using, it is deprecated, very soon it will be removed. So you will not get any support. And whereas web client, it is, you can use for synchronized and asynchronized. So for example, if you are having synchronous communication, you can use web client. Even for asynchronous communication also, you can use the web client. And you see here how I am using this web client. Just a web client, I am post body, I am passing the content type, which is URL encoded, the media type, and in the body, I am passing Oauth2 token body params, which is in body inserts, body inserters. So this is the form data. This is form data, and of course, this Oauth2 token body param is multi-value map. But whenever you are describing this is a form data, then you are just exchange flat map. This flat map is once you get the response from the server, so that particular JSON I am mapping to the Oauth2 token response bean, because in this bean, whatever information I am having, I don't need only just I want only ID token. This ID token I will be using here. And coming to this blue highlighted line of the top method, here again I am passing Oauth2 token body param, and it's like a similar. Here also flat map and using body to mono, and how it's like, there are few specific and important methods there you have to learn before using the web client. In the web client, if you wanted to map from JSON to bean, you have to use body to mono, body to flux. So it's like there are different methods. Here, if you are using exchange, it's good. And in case if you wanted to use retrieve, it is a different mechanism, different technique to deal. Okay, however, it is here in the second method, I am passing the Oauth2 token header params and getting the token back, ID token. And in first method, I'm passing the Oauth2 params, that is access token body params, and getting back access token. So these two private methods, I am invoking in the blue highlighted and yellow highlighted lines. Okay, so this is the ID token response, how it will be looks like. So ID token response, so it is basically will be having 4 in my case: ID token, access token, refresh token, and a token type. And this ID token, it is, you see, you cannot guess this token. It's very, very big number, text, whatever you call it as. But this is a JWT token, JSON Web Token. And it is base 64 encoded. There are a few more algorithms, could be any one of the algorithm could be opted. Okay, and refresh token, token type also there. So this is the ID token, how it will be looks like. So this is the token, the red highlighted one. We need to pass to the authorization server again to get back the access token, which is highlighted in the blue color. You see here, this is the access token, how the JSON looks like. Here you see here access token, token type, expired in. So what I mean to say, this is JWT token, it will have expiry. You have to utilize this token before it expires. In case the token is going to expire, you have to use the refresh token. And this is a different technique you have to implement to get back the new token. Okay, this is how it works. And one more thing is, if you are using web client and if you are working on this particular JSON Web Token and all, I would strongly recommend to you go through once about web client, how it works internally, and also JSON Web Token. In case if you are not sure about OpenID Connect and sample, go through once, it will help you a lot. And so this is more about authorization to with the JWT token plus OpenID Connect. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and also share with your friends for more updates. Thank you. Thank you very much.